Hello and welcome to Compass Conversations, where we talk about meaning and purpose at Butler and beyond. Enjoy the journey.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Compass Conversations. I'm Dr. Brent Heggie, Compass Center Scholar in Residence and Senior Lecturer in Religion at Butler University. In this season of Compass Conversations, I'm hosting a series of conversations with current Butler Compass Scholars to learn more about the work we do at the Compass Center, the Compass Scholars Program, and the importance of interfaith engagement and exploring meaning and purpose. Thank you all for joining us for this conversation. With me today is Senior Compass Scholar Rebecca Curral. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Just to get us started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're studying at Butler, what are your career goals, and what you've been involved with at Butler?
Absolutely. Yes, my name is Rebecca Kroll. I'm from LaGrange, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago, much like a lot of people that go to Butler. My major is called Music Industry Studies, and I have a music minor as well with a vocal performance emphasis. Recorded music, contracts is what I'm really passionate about. And yeah, actually, the vocal performance element of my degree is what first brought me to Butler because I entered as a vocal performance major. But I've really enjoyed being at CCOM as well. So that's my little overview.
Yeah, that's great. And what else besides your major have you been involved with at Butler?
Of course, I'm a Compass scholar. And that honestly um, led to more opportunities at the Compass Center than I even expected. I was able to intern with the Compass Center as an interfaith engagement intern. I'm also in a lot of ensembles on campus for singing, naturally. The choir, I'm in chamber singers. I'm in Freshly Brewed, which is the Upper Voices a cappella group on campus. I'm also in Greek Life, and I've had a few on-campus jobs as well. I worked for the honors department for a
Mhm.
little bit. And yeah, that's most of what I do on campus.
You've done a lot. Yeah,
Thanks.
really
Yeah.
have. Yeah. You've had a
Sometimes
full,
it's hard to think. It's been a long time. I'm
it
old
sure
now.
has. Yeah. Well, going back a little bit to the Compass Scholarship, what exploration or reflection have you done with your own religious or spiritual commitments while you've been a student at Butler? And what have you learned from that exploration and reflection?
Yeah, absolutely. I've so enjoyed all of the interfaith dialogue that I've gotten to take part of by being a Compass Scholar, but also anyone can really do that through the Compass Center.
Mhm.
Um, I came from a decently diverse community in Illinois as well, but I wasn't having those types of conversations um, just like naturally with friends.
Mhm.
And so having it be very intentional, like within a space on campus was really lovely. I felt like there were some, I don't want to say biases, I would say like preconceived notions that I had
Mhm.
especially regarding Christianity as someone that is not Christian, that grew
Mhm.
up in a very Christian area, that how it those dialogues really helped me like dismantle that within myself. Um, and also just learn about like, I mean, within every religion, especially like huge monotheistic religions, like there's so much diversity and it's
Yeah.
not a monolith at all. I would say how that impacted my own internal faith and spiritual journey um, would be probably to kind of reframe how individualistic my view of faith and spirituality was.
Hmm.
I think because my own experience was a little bit more internal, I kind of had again like a preconceived notion that a lot of people felt like that, but I was really surprised and excited to hear about how many people emphasize community in their faith and spiritual journeys and culture and family and tradition.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you mentioned it, but can you share a little bit about the backgrounds in your own kind of upbringing religiously? I know you have kind of an interesting story, but you come from a
Yeah,
multi-faith family.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So my dad is from Turkey. He's from Bursa, which is about 3 hours away from Istanbul, but also still kind of northwest Turkey.
Hmm.
And my mom is from the US, but she was raised Jewish.
Hmm.
And so when they got together, obviously that was an interfaith relationship. But my dad, as many Western Turks are, was not um, a super devout Muslim, actually. Um, it was much more cultural. Honestly, for both of them, they kind of had that in common. Like, for my mom is a Jewish American,
Hmm.
and my dad is a Turkish man from the west side of Turkey.
Hmm.
It's a lot more cultural for them, at least, than spiritual. And so once my dad immigrated to the US, he kind of just was very open or gonna go along with whatever my mom's family
Yeah.
was doing. So, which I mean, just kind of speaks to how, yeah, faith and family and tradition, they're inseparable, you know,
Yeah.
and for some people it is a very internal journey, and for some people it's not, and they're kind
Hmm.
of go with the flow. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so I was raised Jewish, but again, it was more cultural than anything.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and then when I was in high school, that kind of delved into me being more interested in kind of just like new agey, kind of Americanized, westernized spirituality.
Hmm.
Um, I love yoga, and that's obviously a lot of like Hindu practices that influence the
Yeah.
spiritual side of yoga. But
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of yoga and meditating a lot, and I really loved it. And I didn't really know I didn't feel like I was feeling um, the God of any organized religion that I was familiar
Hmm.
with. But I
Hmm.
definitely felt something amazing and
Right.
comforting, like I said,
I mean,
and
yeah.
something that I could very see how, like, that made me feel like I understood people that were devoutly religious more, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. It does.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know what
Yeah.
I would characterize that thing as. An energy,
Yeah.
a
Something
connection.
transcendent, something sacred that you're
Yes.
not comfortable
Yeah.
maybe putting a name or
Um,
label.
yes. And
Yeah.
so that whole personal journey, coupled with my family's background, really led me to be passionate about interfaith dialogue and spiritual journeys. I would also say this is kind of, again, probably a little personal to me and my own little hot take, but
Hmm.
being a music student, there's something extremely soulful and spiritual about music.
Hmm.
Um, and so I've always felt something greater
Yeah.
um, in certain moments, performing with people, singing with people. It's sharing energy.
Yeah. Well, that's so nice to hear, and it's a really nice segue into the next question that I have for you, which is about your interfaith engagement through the Compass Center, and what kind of work have you done on that kind of interfaith engagement, and also why should prospective students care about interfaith engagement?
One of my favorite experiences slash stories that relates to this is definitely the creation of the Black Christian Faith group,
Mm, yeah.
um, which was spearheaded by Reagan Jefferson, who was a dear friend of mine. And when I was an intern for interfaith community engagement, I first learned about Voices of Deliverance, which is a gospel choir that used to exist at Butler.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's like a huge like gap that's I feel like there's like, not much for I mean, like religion is super cultural, and I think that Black Americans often feel like they practice differently than
Hmm.
white Christians.
Sure.
And I was like, that is so unfortunate that that kind of fizzled out during COVID. Also, I just love gospel music, so I was like, I want to hear gospel music.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to my friend Reagan about her faith and her experiences on campus, and she was very much like, yeah, I don't really feel like there's much of a community based off of faith. And I was like, I would love to see someone kind of create something similar to Voices of Deliverance or something aligned with it. And she
Hmm.
doesn't sing, so she's like, well, that's not my thing, but I definitely think that there would be like a just a general group. And I was like, yeah, that would be incredible too. Like, how can I help you? And yeah, I helped a little bit with some like planning stuff, administrative stuff, but then Reagan really took it onto her own and recruited some of her friends, and they proposed it to SGA. And it's really lovely that it's still going on these days. Was not raised anywhere near Christianity, so getting
Mhm.
to see how she felt about her faith, how her community felt about their faith, and getting to express themselves the way that they want to was beautiful.
Right.
And yeah, I was just really happy for her and happy that I could help a little bit.
Yeah, well, that was a great example of the opportunity and the sort of willingness for these kind of grassroots initiatives to just bubble up and like we'll be supportive and see what happens. And if
Yes.
students and
The
faculty
Compass
and
Center
staff
is
really
literally that to a T. It's like no one, I've never seen anyone at the Compass Center be like, no, that's a bad idea. You shouldn't do it. Like everyone is like so supportive and like really like just like understands people's visions and wants to
Mhm.
see people succeed. And I mean, there's like funding that
Yeah,
is like very willingly available to students that have a vision and want to get something done.
yeah, 100%. Just try it out and we'll be supportive as we can and see what happens. Like maybe it
Yes.
takes off, maybe it's just for a few students, but even for those few students, it can be really meaningful and an important part of their time at Butler. And so we're not
Yeah.
so concerned about numbers as just meaning and impact, right? So that was a great example. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Um, well, you're just like leading me perfectly into like the next questions. So
Yay.
what's something you want prospective Butler students to know about the Compass Center or the Compass Scholars Program? Anything else related to meaning, purpose, spiritual life, interfaith engagement at Butler? Like, what would you like students applying to Butler to know about the work that we do?
Yeah, I think, I mean, the most common like misconception is that it's for only for people that are very devoutly religious.
Mhm.
So I think that like just for like an awareness aspect, like it's good to know that really everyone is welcome and there's so many different types of conversations that go on and um yeah, so it's not like a um there's no exclusivity at all.
Mhm. Yeah. I think I have one, maybe two more questions for you, and one is a little bit different. What's one piece of wisdom or advice you wish you could go back to tell yourself before you arrived at Butler?
Absolutely. Savoring all of the openness and possibility of each of the beginning of each new year is like
Mm,
really valuable. Like you'll look back and thank yourself. Just everyone is like an open book at the beginning of college. And it's just the perfect time to make new friends and meet people.
yeah,
So like really, really capitalize that, like really savor that.
yeah. Just that sort of willingness to try new things and to be
Yes.
open and to
And
say
go
hi to
anywhere,
people
go to
you'll
any
know.
event,
Right.
talk to any person. Like it's just it's a great energy. It's a great frequency to
Yeah.
be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rebecca, is there anything else you want to share with our listeners about your experience, about the Compass Center, about the work that we do, as you're getting ready to say goodbye to Butler and head off into the next season of your life?
Yeah, I think another great thing about the center, like I forgot to talk about this at all, but my experience presenting to the School of Music, like the students in the School of
Yeah,
Music and
please
having
talk
to see
about that.
that was really lovely. I've always felt as a singer that there's usually in a Western country like ours in the US, there's going to be more of a focus on Christian repertoire because so
Mhm.
much music, beautiful music, is based in the church.
Right.
And it makes a lot of sense. And some things just happen because of the demographics of wherever you are. And that's not negative. That's not a bad thing. But I did, I do feel like within music and art, no choice is a bad choice, but it should be an intentional choice. And
Mm,
if we're just doing things, um, like, and not being cognizant of them,
yeah.
that's a missed opportunity as an artist. Um, like my voice teacher, Dr. Zenobi, is always saying like, yeah, there's not a bad choice, but just make sure it's a choice. Like,
Mhm.
and I felt like sometimes the lack of religious diversity within choral music was not a choice. It was just kind of like this
Mm.
mindless kind of, oh yeah, this is just what we do.
Yeah.
Um, and so that experience, I ended up presenting to the School of Music and talking to faculty, and they were incredible and so open, and it was really a lovely experience. And that really, the biggest takeaway from that was that at a school like Butler, where people are really supportive, and especially having Daniel and the faculty at the Compass Center behind me, like there is not an issue that is too big for you to address. Like you
Mhm.
as a student should not be scared to ruffle feathers or to disrupt things. That's actually why you're there,
Yeah.
because like we're supposed to keep things churning and moving and be asking questions like why is this the way that
Right.
it is?
When we say
Um,
that, we mean it.
yeah.
Yeah. You should be
And
questioning, wondering.
yes, and I'm not always like that. And I was definitely like a little bit, I felt like, is this my place to be like doing this right now? Like if,
Mhm.
I'm like 19, like, but
Right.
but no, it's like amazing and
It is
everyone
your
here is
place.
amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, like faculty were just so beyond incredible and supportive. And it just ended up being a really, really positive experience.
That deep connection between sort of formation in the tradition and singing is really central to my tradition. And so it's why I love that connection between the exploration of sort of spirituality and commitments and interfaith and also the work that you've done as a singer, but also expanding that beyond the Christian tradition, I think is really, really helpful and
Yeah.
important. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that you were able to help us see some opportunities for doing that work in the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone within like the theology department and the Compass Center, like you guys are thinking about that sort of thing already. But
Right.
you want to be a little bit like in the School of Music, for example, where I mean, the voice faculty does an incredible job at thinking intersectionally, but that's
Hmm.
not built into that's not built into our curriculum. So I felt like it
Right.
was a
Yeah.
good opportunity to
Yeah.
talk about it a little bit more.
Well, it's so exciting because we're still kind of working on this model of kind of a century ago where all the departments are kind of silos and we don't see a lot of overlap or collaboration, but we're working on that to like reach out to somebody in religious studies like me, reaching out to voice faculty or choral faculty and say, hey, there's a lot of overlap here we could talk about.
Yeah,
And the fact that you were
exactly.
able to do that as an undergrad to the entire JCA in a what do you call it there? It's the convocation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that was a really big deal. And it was brave of you to do that because I know that's a big thing. And to do that as an undergrad, we were really proud of you.
Thank you. I really
And to see
appreciate
all of that work. Yeah, yeah.
it.
Um, well, Rebecca, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation and to talk a little bit more about all of the work we do that's good and meaningful at the Compass Center at Butler and in other areas of our university. Um, I hope you have a good end of the semester and looking forward to seeing you at baccalaureate and at graduation.
That's
And yeah, it's coming
crazy.
really soon, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you
congratulations.
so much for having me. And this was a really fun conversation. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I enjoyed it. Thanks too to our listeners for joining us for this conversation. And please like and subscribe and share this podcast. Please add your comments below and be well, y'all.